New Year's Eve, 1975. The Louisiana Superdome finished in August of that year at a cost of $134 million. The multi-purpose structure was the new home to New Orleans' historic postseason game, the Sugar Bowl. The 42nd annual game would be between the Nittany Lions of Penn State and the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Bama was on a long dry spell. The 1967 New Orleans Classic was the last time the Tide had won a bowl game. During that streak, 3 undefeated seasons were ruined when Alabama could not win the bowl game. After finishing the season 9-2, Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions accepted an invitation to the Sugar Bowl. This would be the first of 4 meetings between 2 of college football's greatest coaches. And like all the other meetings between the 2 legends, it was going to be a hard-fought defensive struggle that would go down as a Crimson Classic. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Crimson Classics. I'm Gary Harris. You know, here at the Capstone, tradition is everything. Conference championships, national championships, and bowl victories are expected. And that was especially the case during the Coach Bryant era. But in the late 1960s and early 1970s, bowl victories were impossible to come by. After the 1967 Sugar Bowl, the Tide compiled an 0-7-1 record in the postseason heading into the 1975 Sugar Bowl.
We had lost 8 in a row, if you will, or at least hadn't won 8 in a row. We had tied one several years earlier with Oklahoma, and I think in 1970. But you know, we were tired of hearing that. We had played pretty good on every bowl game. It just failed to come up and make the big plays.
In 1971, 73, and 74, undefeated seasons and a chance for a national championship were ruined when Alabama could not win its bowl game. A 38-6 loss to top-ranked Nebraska in the 1972 Orange Bowl ended what would have been a sure national championship. The same thing happened in 1973 against Notre Dame. The third-ranked Fighting Irish defeated the top-ranked Tide 24-23 in the Sugar Bowl. Alabama did receive a share of the national title since UPI took its final poll before the bowl season.
Coach Bryant had told us that he felt like we were national champions. We played all year like national champions. UPI had crowned us national championships, and Coach Bryant was nice enough to get us a national championship ring. So I wear that national championship ring an awful lot.
And finally, in 1974, Alabama would have had a tough time overtaking undefeated Oklahoma in the polls. But another loss to Notre Dame in what was legendary coach Ara Parseghian's last game ended any chance of that.
You know, there's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 major plays that are going to be the outcome of that game. We pretty well dominated from a statistical standpoint against Notre Dame, but just didn't make the big plays when we needed to.
Publicly, Bryant would always say a bowl loss was just another game. But losses like this had to be tough to take. The staff tried several approaches.
But we tried a lot of different things. We would go late to the bowl game, which would upset the bowl people. We would stay away from the town. We stayed one time on a bowl trip out at the airport. We tried everything.
But when it came to the actual game, Coach Bryant knew what had worked in the past and knew it would continue to work in the future.
Preparation, I don't think, really changed, you know, during the time where we were losing bowl games, because there was some conversation. I remember when I came back with Coach Bryant in 1971, each year, you know, he would bring it up. But once we got on the field, we did the same thing we did when we lost, maybe, and on into when we were winning. And one way to find out: go out and play.
Alabama had high hopes for the 1975 season, and the team was confident heading into the season opener against Missouri.
We had high hopes of coming out of the gate. It was our first step going towards winning the conference championship again, and for the 5th time in a row, and also moving on to win the national championship.
But the season didn't start out the way many had anticipated. The Tigers shocked Alabama 20-7, ending any chance at an undefeated season, and as it would turn out, any shot at a national championship.
loss to Missouri, I think like to look back at that now, and we were focused more on Clemson, which was our second game. We kind of overlooked Missouri, and of course Clemson, we beat them, I believe, 52-0, but it was an oversight on our part to overlook Missouri. But we learned from that experience and went on to have a great season.
Missouri came in and had a very good game plan against us, had a lot of good athletes.
I got to give all credit to Missouri. They came and they played, and they outplayed us. You know, we lost that first game, but I think after that, I think we came, you know, left Birmingham, and I think for the next week, we got our minds right.
Knowing that his championship season may have been over before it even started, how did Coach Bryant react?
Well, he didn't make a big deal out of that game at all. He just knew that we weren't prepared to do what they brought to us. And so he knew that it wasn't in the players trying. And
you know, I've seen them lose the first game before, the Georgia game in '65, for example, and then go on and have a great year. So I thought they would still come back, which they certainly did.
Alabama certainly recovered just fine by winning the remainder of its games and capping off its 5th consecutive SEC championship season with a win over Auburn in Coach Shuck Jordan's final game. Now it was time to choose a bowl game. While it was understood that Bryant had a lot of pull in picking which game he wanted to play in, some suggested that for the 1975 Sugar Bowl, he even hand-picked the opponent. Coach Mal Moore saw Joe Paterno years later, and Coach Paterno told him the story of how it all happened.
He said he got a call from Coach Bryant there at the end of the season, and they visited a few minutes, and Coach Bryant asked him what he had going. And Coach Paterno said, Mal, I said, well, Coach, tomorrow the Gator Bowl is supposed to call and make an offer to Penn State to play in the Gator Bowl. And Coach Bryant said, Joe, if you can hold off a day, I'm going to get you the Sugar Bowl. And Joe kind of looked at me and smiled. I said, Mal, you know, I'm a young head coach. And I said, Coach, what if you don't get it and I turn the Gator Bowl down? He said, I'm just telling you, don't take it. And he said, Mal, I lay awake all night grieving over what to do, but the next morning the Gator Bowl called, and I told them that I was turning it down. And he said the next day, Aaron's Calorie of the Sugar Bowl called and made the offer, extended the offer to Penn State for the Sugar Bowl. He just would shake his head. He said Coach Bryant was unbelievable.
This did not set well at all with Nebraska coach Tom Osborne. Coach Osborne felt that his team was better than Penn State and should have been invited to a bigger bowl than the Fiesta Bowl. He even went as far as saying Coach Bryant was ducking him for a weaker opponent. Well, ducking or not, the week after making that statement, Osborne and the Cornhuskers were overpowered 35-10 by the Oklahoma Sooners, thus dropping them down in the polls and making him the weaker opponent. More from the Superdome when Crimson Classics returns. With the structured bowl selection process that we have today, it's hard to imagine that a coach could just select his own bowl game, but it seemed every year that's what Coach Bryant was able to do. The game was set, number 4 Alabama versus number 8 Penn State, and it would be the first time many of these players for both teams would be playing under a roof.
It was almost overwhelming just to be inside the Superdome, and we had to get used to it and the TV above the playing field. I think we were coached more on not watching that and staying focused on the game.
Well, that was my first time playing indoors, and you know, the stadium, I remember it was so loud in the Superdome, and it was almost deafening. It was so many people.
But when they got inside, the players noticed something about their coach that they just weren't used to.
Of course, it was the first time also that we got a chance to see Coach Bryant without the hat on. And, you know, he'd always wore the hat because we played in outdoor stadiums. And We all noticed that for some reason he didn't have his hat on, and of course we found out later that his mama told him he never was supposed to wear a hat inside, and so he had taken that houndstooth hat off, which again just adds a little bit more to that whole experience.
With the losing streak on his mind, Bryant took preparation for this game quite differently than in previous bowl games.
We went down maybe 2 days earlier than we normally went. And for the first time, we said with the players when we get there, we would let them have the first 2 or 3 nights where they could kind of knock around the town, get the excitement of being there.
It must have been really exciting for Woodrow Lowe. The All-American lost track of time in the Big Easy.
We were staying at the Fontainebleau Hotel, and I'm right there at the front desk paying my incidentals. And I looked to my left, and the bus was there, so I thought I had plenty of time. But I may have had 1 or 2 people in front of me. But anyway, I'm there getting. By the time I get there, I get ready to pay my cash and everything. But anyway, I noticed the bus pull off. And when the bus pulled off, there were several coaches. Now, I don't know if Coach Grisco was one of them, but I do know Coach Crane, Paul Crane, saw me. And you know we weren't going to open that door with Coach Bryant there on that bus to see him being late. So what I did, I started running.
He would run up beside the buses as they slowed down slightly for an intersection. He was gaining on that 3rd bus. We were all pulling for him, and then the police would stop the traffic. The buses would go on through. We'd kind of pull away from Woodrow.
Here I am running in that crimson blazer, in my slacks and everything. And hey, it was about maybe, I don't know. It seemed like it was about 3 or 4 blocks, but it might have been a half a mile or so. I don't know.
Then the next intersection, they'd slow down a little bit, and Woodrow would run back up beside the bus, and then we'd pull away from him. All I knew is that I was not going to be late, and when that bus got there, that I was going to be there when they got off the bus at the Sugar Bowl. And I wasn't tired. I was more scared than anything. And of course, he was warmed up when we got there. He didn't have to wait for the on-the-field warm-ups.
I often wondered if Coach Bryant knew. I think he knew, but he never did say anything to me about it.
Penn State wins the toss and elects to receive. Rick Motti from the 12 and returns it back to the 25. Conley Duncan on the tackle. Duncan, however, was just happy to be playing in the game.
Well, this is the opening kickoff, and I obviously is still under suspension in here for missing curfew a couple of days earlier, so I really didn't know whether or not I was going to get a chance to play or not, and so every kickoff that I was still on was important to me. And as the opening kickoff, I had a chance to make the play there.
It's Woody Petchel on first down, up the middle for 3. Greg Montgomery and a host of others on the stop. On 2nd and 7, the Lions go to the air. Great job, though, by Bama's Tyrone King. John Andrus drops back and hits Jimmy Cephalo over the middle for 14 yards and a Penn State first down. Birmingham senior Alan Pizzatola brings him down. Dwayne Taylor gets the carry and picks up 5. Greg Montgomery on the tackle for Alabama. Petchel picks up 4 before number 47, Woodrow Lowe, brings him down, setting up a 3rd and short. But on 3rd down, Joe Pa calls a quarterback sneak for 1 yard and a Penn State first down. On 1st and 10, Andrus sets up a screen pass to Petchel, but number 47 is there again, a 1-yard loss. Andrus to Taylor on the draw. Looks like there's a big hole, but no, it closes fast. Greg Montgomery fills the gap, no gain. The Nittany Lions are unable to pick up the first down, so All-American Matt Barr comes on to attempt a 62-yard field goal, but it falls short, and Alabama takes over on its 20-yard line. Richard Todd hands off to big Johnny Davis up the middle for 3 tough yards. It's Davis again, this time going off tackle for 3 more yards. Ron Hostetler on the tackle. Facing 3rd and 4 from its own 26, Todd drops back to pass. And he hits Jodell Harris on the right side. And what a cutback. Harris races to the left side and down the sideline for 54 yards and a Bama first down. Watch as Jodell picks up a great block from number 32 Mike Stock and two more from number 30 Willie Shelby and number 50 KJ Lazenby. A great play by the senior from Uriah, Alabama. That 54-yard pass play from Todd to Harris was the second longest pass play of the season for the Crimson Tide. Don't go anywhere because the action is just heating up right here on Crimson Classics. After the big gain, Alabama has it 1st and 10 at the Penn State 20. Can the Crimson Tide punch it in? More action on Crimson Classics. On first down, Todd goes to the air again and finds Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie breaks one tackle and rumbles for 9 yards. Big Johnny Davis does the rest of the work on 2nd and short, going 4 yards for a first down. But Penn State's Ron Coder breaks through the line on first down and sacks Todd for a 4-yard loss. And when you run the wishbone, any play for negative yardage is devastating to a drive. Willie Shelby gets his first touch of the night on a give to the right, gaining 7 yards and down inside the Penn State 5-yard line. Great blocking by Mike Stock and Johnny Davis. On 3rd down, Davis tries to go up the middle, but the defense holds, and Bama has to try a field goal. On 4th down, Danny Ridgway comes on to try a 25-yard field goal. That's a chip shot for Ridgway, and Alabama takes the lead in New Orleans. Alabama 3, Penn State 0. A 3-0 lead might very well be good enough for Alabama. The 1975 team has given up only 66 points all season long, and 20 of those were in the first half of the first game of the year. On first down from their own 16, Andrus hands to Cephalo, but it's a gain of just 1. Gus White on the stop for the Crimson Tide. On 2nd down, Andrus drops back to pass, but elects to keep it himself. The Penn State quarterback picks up 11 yards for the first down. Wayne Rhodes and Woodrow Lowe finally bring him down. Taylor gets the call this time and picks up 6 on the right side. A great hit by Woodrow Lowe. Penn State goes back to Cephalo on the left side for 5 yards and a first down. Lowe again on the tackle. That's 3 straight plays that Woodrow Lowe has been involved in. On the season, Woody Lowe recorded 67 tackles and earned All-American honors for the 3rd consecutive season.
When I was a freshman at Alabama, of course, nobody really knew a whole lot about anybody, and I remember coming into the very first day of the depth chart, and they had me listed behind some guy named Woodrow Lowe, and I said, well, that's fine. I'll accept that. I'll just work hard. And it came pretty obvious to me after the first couple of weeks of practice that Woodrow was a very special player.
He got the name of No Money Lowe. He went to Birmingham to see his girlfriend, and he was late coming back, and I think he was about 30 minutes late. And back then you got a little per diem, and I think he was 30 minutes late. I think O'Brien charged him like $10 a minute, something like that, and they called him, took that little $300 from him, and he got the name No Money Low.
The defensive line comes up big on first down, with Charlie Hanna dropping Cephalo for a loss of 2. On 2nd down, senior Leroy Cook plows his way through the line and pressures the Nittany Lions' Andrus into the incompletion. On 3rd down, Joe Pa decides to play it safe, going with the draw to Cephalo. Bob Baumhauer and others on the stop for Alabama. Penn State has to punt it away. Shelby takes it at the 17 and weaves his way up to the 20. Alabama takes over with just under 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. Bama's ball at the 20. Todd on the option run to the left, but Kurt Alleman brings him down from behind, loss of 3 yards on the play. Todd tries the air on second down, but the Penn State defense smothers the Bama quarterback for a 9-yard loss, setting up a third down and very long. Penn back deep inside his own 10-yard line. Coach Bryant usually likes to play it safe, but not today. Todd drops to throw and finds Ozzie Newsome, and the Wizard of Oz breaks a couple of tackles and dances his way for 6 more yards after the catch. A great play by the sophomore to pick up 26 and a big Alabama first down. Let's watch from this end zone view as the offensive line sets up a great pocket for the senior from Mobile, and big Ozzie Newsome does the rest. Ozzie went on to have a Hall of Fame NFL career with the Cleveland Browns. And as the first quarter ends, it's Bama on top, 3-0. The second quarter starts with 2 incomplete passes by Richard Todd, putting Alabama into a 3rd and 10. Mike Stock takes the toss but manages only 3 yards, and the Tide is forced to punt. The 2 incomplete passes on this drive would be Todd's only 2 incompletions of the day. On first down, Andrus drops back to pass, but Mark Prudhomme is Johnny on the spot, and he breaks it up. Penn State can't move the football and must punt it away. Bama starts its second drive of the quarter. The Tide begins with a quarterback keeper for a gain of 4. On second down, Todd finds Stock on a curl for 4 more yards, setting up a 3rd down play. After an Alabama penalty, it's now 3rd and 7, but Joe Dale Harris picks up his second 3rd down catch of the day, this one good for 15 yards and a Bama first down. On first down, Stock gets the call and picks up 5. Great blocking by number 78, Bob Kreider. On second down, it's Stock again, but this time he's tackled behind the line for a 2-yard loss. Near midfield, Todd drops back to pass, but Hostetler and company dropping for a 7-yard loss, forcing the Crimson Tide to punt. On 2nd and 8, Penn State running back Steve Geis finds a hole, then fumbles the football, then recovers it. Andrus rolls out to the right and hits Barbacek for 10 big yards and a first down. Rhodes and Lowe finally bring him down. Coach Paterno calls a draw play, and it picks up 4. This time, Gus White stops Cephalo for only a yard. Setting up a 3rd and 7, Andrus takes to the air, but academic All-SEC Alan Pizzatola makes the tackle, and Penn State has to punt. After the 45-yard punt, Bama starts from the 18. It's a battle of field position. On first down, Todd options to the right and pitches to Shelby, who picks up 9. Great running by the senior from Purvis, Mississippi. Davis, the workhorse, picks up the rest on second down with his 4-yard blast up the middle. Todd keeps on first down but is stopped for no gain. A great tackle by Penn State's Allerman. Jimmy Taylor gets the draw on second down, but he gets tripped up and gains only 2. After a 15-yard penalty, it's 3rd down and 20. Todd drops to throw but has to tuck it and run. He picks up just 9 yards, so Alabama is forced to punt. Nelson's back to punt for Alabama, and it's a great punt, maybe a little too good. Monty takes it at the Penn State 27 and shows his great return skills, taking the ball all the way out to the 43-yard line, setting Penn State up with great field position. With 2:53 remaining in the half, Petchel takes the handoff, gets just a yard on this first down play. Conley Duncan on the stop for the Tide. On second down, Coach Paterno tries a little trickery. Andrus rolls to his right and tosses it back to Fitzke on the reverse. Fitzke gets 13 before Prudhomme finally knocks him out of bounds. With the clock winding down, Andrus hands to Cephalo, but Bama's Paul Harris lands a bell ringer. A big play now. Andrus drops back and looks deep for Dick Barbacek, but Mark Prudhomme jumps in front and just takes the ball away at the 6-yard line, ending the Penn State scoring drive. Mark Prudhomme had an outstanding career at Alabama with 84 tackles and 4 interceptions, but this was probably the best game of his career. Alabama heads into the locker room with a 3-0 lead. Second half action when Crimson Classics returns. The defense had done its job in the first half by allowing less than 100 yards and no points. Now let's see if the offense can get the job done in the second half.
We were having trouble getting their two techniques blocked. And later we put in a scheme that would help us do that because they would jump around us. They'd get outside and then they'd jump around us. We then started going flat with the center to pick him up, so we called it a pickup, just help us so the guard could come off. Because if you don't come off and somebody's on the outside, you can't get him. But if you lead him a little bit and he jumps inside, you can't get him. That was the best thing they did. But and at the halftime, we were trying to see how we could get that handled so we could get the ball moving down the field. You know, the wishbone, you needed to keep on making yards. You couldn't lose 5 yards. If you had a passing game, it didn't matter. You could hit a long pass. But the wishbone, you needed to continue moving the ball.
Penn State kicks off to start the second half. It's big, tough Johnny Davis over left tackle for a 2-yard pickup. It's Davis again over left tackle. This time it's a 5-yard pickup, setting up a 3rd and 3. The Montgomery sophomore gets his 3rd consecutive carry, but he stopped just shy of the first down, and Bama has to punt. From their own 31, Penn State's Dwayne Taylor carries over right tackle for 4 yards. On second down, Andrus keeps to the right for 3 yards, setting up a 3rd down and 3. Pizzatola and Dick Turpin help bring him down. This time, Andrus goes to the play action, but Leroy Cook is not fooled and drops the quarterback for a loss of 7. A great play by the senior defensive end from Abbeville.
Leroy Cook, what an outstanding football player. Good old country boy from Abbeville, Alabama, that was just hard-nosed and, you know, a guy that, you know, if you're going to be in an alley, he's the guy that you'd want on your side.
From the Bama 23, Johnny Davis blasts over left end for a 4-yard pickup before Buttle and others bring him down. It's Todd calling his own number this time, but he can't find any room, and Allerman and a host of others bring him down, setting up 3rd and 6. Todd drops to throw, but under a heavy rush has to dump it off to his fullback. Davis picks up 5, but it's not enough for the first, and Bama is forced to punt it away. With 5 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter, neither team has gained a first down so far this half. Something has to give soon. After the Alabama punt, it's Petchel on the carry for Penn State, a gain of 2. A great hit by Woodrow Lowe on the play. This time it's Taylor up the middle, but Bob Baumhauer stops him after a gain of just 2. The Alabama cheerleaders look happy about that play, especially Sheila Ward, who was Bob Baumhauer's college sweetheart. Baumhauer went on to great success in the National Football League, while Sheila went on to become a model and an Emmy Award-winning actress. Facing a 3rd down and long, Andrus drops back to throw but finds an opening and runs for 14 yards and a 1st down. This is Penn State's first time in Bama territory since the opening drive of the game. It's back to Petchel on 1st down, a gain of 3 before Hanna and Cook bring him down. Taylor, the big fullback, takes the draw and tries the middle, but Charlie Hanna and Gus White stack him up after a gain of only a yard. Penn State is in another 3rd and long. Quarterback Andrus back to throw. He has time, and he finds Petchel for 14 yards and a big 1st down. From the 33 now, Taylor up the middle for a gain of 2. White and a host of others on the stop for the Crimson Tide. It's Taylor again, this time over left tackle for a 5-yard pickup, setting up 3rd and 3. Well within Barr's field goal range, Coach Paterno isn't going to do anything fancy. It's Maudie off right tackle for 2 yards, a great tackle by Turpin to prevent the 1st down. Matt Barr easily drills the 32-yard field goal, and the game is all tied up with 4:33 remaining in the 3rd quarter. It looks like Bama might be in trouble now. Penn State has all the momentum, and Alabama has yet to gain a 1st down in the second half. But Alabama does have one weapon, and that's Richard Todd.
No pitch Rich, that's what we used to call him. That was our nickname because he liked to turn it up. Big, strong, and fast. And most defensive philosophies was to let the quarterback turn up with the football, not pitch it to the halfback and make him run it and wear him out, tackle him. But with Richard Todd, there were no chance to wear him out. He would wear the defense out.
You have to have a quarterback that's pretty cold-blooded. He doesn't mind getting hit, and he's He's got the nerves of a burglar, so to speak. He can sit in there and make those decisions, come down the line of scrimmage. But if you got a guy that can do it, you can move the football and you can score points.
He's a fullback playing quarterback. Great leadership. I mean, people believed in him and loved him being in the huddle because he'd make things happen.
Every afternoon I had to snap the ball to Richard Todd. Working with Todd, he was a great leader and a great quarterback. He had great skill.
Richard Todd was one of the all-time greats at Alabama. And of course, he would go on to quarterback the NFL's New York Jets after some guy named Joe Willie Namath left. More third quarter action when Crimson Classics returns. With 4:33 remaining in the third quarter, we have ourselves a tie ball game. But let's see if Richard Todd and company can do something about that. Matt Barr kicks off for Penn State. Shelby takes the football on a bounce at the 4 and returns it back to the 20. If Alabama is going to get back on top, the Tide is going to have to drive it the full 80 yards. Willie Shelby gets the call on first down and hits the left side for a gain of 7. But on second down, Calvin Culliver can only manage a yard, and that brings up a critical third down. Richard Todd on the option. He pitches it to Mike Stock. He hits the corner for 6 yards, and Alabama's first down of the second half. Watch again as Todd is nearly taken down, but manages to get off a miracle pitch to Stock, and number 32 does the rest. On first down, Todd tries play action. He pump fakes and hits Ozzie Newsome down the right side, and he's off to the races. Here's another look for you. A great job by Richard Todd hitting Newsome in stride. Newsome was Alabama's Mr. Everything, and he went on to become a Hall of Famer in the National Football League.
Isaac Newsome, we came here as a freshman together. We got to know Isaac real good. Isaac, I think, was a great athlete. He was from the state of Alabama, and being from the state of Georgia, he kind of like took care of us, and he got me to know different people here in the state, and really kind of taught me about the rivalry between Alabama and Auburn. And I think, you know, Isaac was a good player. Him and Johnny Davis, the guys were here, became real good friends, lifetime friends at that.
Alabama nearly gives Penn State a gift on the next play as Culliver can't handle the handoff and fumbles, but Richard Todd alertly jumps on the ball. Great awareness by the Tide's senior leader. Todd options to the left and pitches back to Stock. Stock picks up some good blocking, and then he rumbles down the sidelines and into the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown, Alabama. Let's watch that run again. The Alabama front does a terrific job setting up the hole for Stock. Great run by the senior from Elkhart, Indiana. It looks like the brakes are finally starting to fall Alabama's way.
Mike scored the first touchdown in the Superdome that night on a pitch on the play was 39 out of I believe a left formation, a called outside play. The pitch goes to Mike Stock. He scores the first touchdown.
Ridgeway's extra point is good, and Alabama has regained the lead 10-3. 80 yards on only 6 plays. Not exactly how the wishbone offense was designed to work, but it's a touchdown nonetheless, and Alabama is back in business.
One thing about the wishbone, it may be one of the best passing formations there is if you can run the triple option, simply because the defense has to do whatever they possibly can to stop the run. It always leaves you with a one-on-one with that receiver. And I think in the passing games, that's what everybody is striving to get, is that one-on-one. And we had it every time we lined up.
But Joe Paterno wasn't going to let his team just roll over now. While some criticize Penn State as being a weaker opponent than, say, either Oklahoma or Nebraska, the Lions from Pennsylvania were still one of the best teams in the country.
Well, Penn State was a powerhouse out of the East, and it was going to be one heck of a ball game. Didn't throw the ball an awful lot. They were a powerhouse running team, very similar to Alabama that year. We expected a good ball game that night, and we got one.
A smash-mouth football team, a lot like ourselves, very well coached, well disciplined.
But this is still Alabama football, and whatever Penn State brought on offense, Alabama had a defense to match.
One of the characteristics that Alabama teams had was that we really didn't have an I approach. It was all about us, and it's all about we, and we played together as a unit. That's how we were taught by all our coaching staffs, and we really didn't have to worry about someone else taking care of their responsibilities, because we knew and believed that they would take their job and allowed someone else here to be able to make the play if that's the case.
After the kickoff, it's first down Penn State at the 20 with 1:42 remaining in the third quarter. On first down, Andrus to his right pitches to sophomore Steve Geis. Great blocking by the Nittany Lions breaks the running back open for 29 yards near midfield. Defensive end Leroy Cook saves a touchdown. With the clock winding down in the third, Andrus drops back to pass. Baumhauer nearly gets his big mitts on the ball, but Barbacek makes the grab for 4 yards. Geis gets the call on second down for a 3-yard gain. Gus White on the tackle. It's 3rd and 3, and it's Geis again, diving over the pile of Alabama defenders, and Penn State has the ball in Crimson Tide territory with a new set of downs as the third quarter comes to an end. Andrus rolls out to the left on first down, hits Schuler down the left sideline for 9 big yards. But watch again as Bama's Alan Pizzatola drills Andrus a second after he released the football. Speaking of monster hits, watch as Woodrow Lowe stops Geis for no gain on second down. On 3rd and 1, Geis picks up 4 yards and a first down. Another big hit, though, by number 63, Greg Montgomery, and Mark Prudhomme. Taylor gets the call, this time over right guard for a 4-yard pickup. Conley Duncan on the stop for Alabama. It's Taylor again to the same spot, and again it's Duncan that's there for the stop, setting up 3rd and 4. Inside Bama's 25, Andrus completes this pass, but Bama's D is all over Schuler, and it's not enough for a first down. Penn State will have to settle for a field goal attempt. Matt Barr's kick is good. And even though the defense gave up the field goal, they kept Penn State out of the end zone, and the lead still belongs to the Crimson Tide with 11:19 remaining in the football game. What a crazy game. 3 straight 3-and-outs followed by 3 straight scoring drives. Nothing is predictable tonight. The exciting conclusion to the 75 Sugar Bowl when Crimson Classics returns. Alabama has the lead, but there's still plenty of time remaining in the football game. Let's watch now as the Crimson Tide tries to run down the clock. Matt Barr kicks off for Penn State, and Tony Nathan takes it at the 5 and stumbles his way out to the 27. Great running by the freshman from Birmingham. Richard Todd options out to the right and fakes the handoff. A great move to avoid the rush, and Todd picks up 8 on the play. On second down, Todd pitches it back to Stock, but the Penn State defense is there to stop him for no gain. Todd options to the left and pitches again to Stock. Great running here on 3rd down as he bulldozes his way for 3 yards and an Alabama first down. After Willie Shelby picked up 4 on first down, Calvin Culliver blasts up the middle for 5 yards, setting up a 3rd and short. Culliver gets the call on 3rd down and picks up the needed yard and a bunch more. Todd up the middle on 1st down, but the Penn State defense sniffs it out, no gain. Todd goes to the air on 2nd down. He pump fakes and finds Stock over the middle for 20 big yards and a Bama first down. Watch again as Stock lines up in the slot and finds a little seam down the field and gives up his body to make the remarkable catch to keep the Bama drive alive. Going to the air worked once, why not try it again? Todd slings it out to Newsome. Great awareness by number 82 to make the sliding catch. It's good for 7 yards. But on the next play, the blocking breaks down, and Todd is hauled down for a loss of 5 by Penn State's Allerman. On third down, the senior quarterback shows once again why he is the leader. He floats one to Jerry Brown for 15 yards and another Alabama first down. The clock continues to run, now just 5:42 remaining in the game. On first down from inside the 10-yard line, Todd takes the option keeper to the right, but he loses a yard. Todd drops back to pass. He surveys the field but can't find anyone open and scrambles just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Big third down from inside the Penn State 10. Todd drops back to pass, but Crosby breaks through the blocking and sacks Richard for a 2-yard loss. Alabama has to bring on the field goal unit. Danny Ridgway nails the 28-yard field goal, and Alabama extends its lead to 13-6. What a drive, 62 yards, 14 plays, and most importantly, a full 8 minutes off the clock. Now that's how the wishbone offense was designed to work. With just 3:19 remaining in the game, Penn State is going to have to work some Crescent City magic if they want to defeat this tough Alabama defense. Bucky Berry kicks it 1 yard deep in the end zone, but Maudie decides to bring it out. It's a bad decision. Conley Duncan breaks in and trips him up at the 14-yard line. On first down, Geis gets the call for Penn State and picks up 9 before Cook and Prudhomme can bring him down. Andrus drops back and throws to Cefalo for 7 yards and a first down at the Penn State 30. The clock, though, continues to melt away. After an incompletion, Andrus tosses left to Geis, but Charlie Hanna and Tyrone King meet him behind the line of scrimmage and bring Geis down for a loss of 1. A crucial third down and 11 now. What will Joe Pa do? He decides to call the reverse to Barbacek. It looks like he's got the first down and more, but Woodrow Lowe does it again, getting him out of bounds, setting up 4th down. This play proves it, folks. Football is a game of inches. It's gut check time now for both teams. 1:21 remaining in the fourth quarter. 4th and inches, down by a touchdown. This is the ball game. Will Bryant's D be ready for what Paterno's offense throws at it? Monty takes the handoff. He dives and is met by a host of Bama defenders. Conley Duncan, Woodrow Lowe, and the whole defensive line make the stop. Did he get the first down? They'll have to measure. But first, let's hear some of the Alabama players who were on the field talk about that key play.
They had big, strong running backs, not a lot of speed in their backfield, but they were very strong and tough. And we felt like, they wouldn't run out on the outside because of our speed that we had. We were far superior in terms of speed and quickness than their offensive line was. So we felt like they would run right at us. We concentrated on our defensive line, staying low, making some penetration, making some things happen, as Coach would always tell us to do.
The refs measure the gain. Is it a first down? No. Bama has held on 4th and inches, and all the Tide has to do now is run out the clock.
Well, great pursuit by the entire defense at that point in time. Woodrow came on the backside. I stepped up here, took a block, and just kind of converged on the running back and held him short for the 4th down play, which secured our win.
Alabama gains 1 more first down to ice the contest, and Richard Todd puts the finishing touches on a spectacular game by falling on the football. The game is over. Alabama has defeated Penn State 13-6 to win the 1975 Sugar Bowl, ending the season on an 11-game winning streak and ending a string of 8 bowls in a row without a victory. Richard Todd finished the game with remarkable numbers, going 10 of 12 for 210 yards. And for his work, Todd is named the MVP of the Sugar Bowl in what was his final game in an Alabama uniform. And what a game it was.
There were a lot of, you looking at, the matchup between 2 great head coaches. And I like, 2 great battle coaches. You can look at, the head coaches there, Coach Paterno and Coach Bryant, and everybody thought it would be a chess move. All of them playing chess and who's going to make the right move and stuff. But the 2 coaches, I think they, had a relationship off the field, and that's the best thing. When we got on the field, they put that aside, and we just played football for them. And like in the game, what head coach make the right decision, the right call at the right time, win the game.
13-6, a classic battle between two of college football's premier programs. Coach Bryant's team started a streak of 6 consecutive bowl victories, including another thriller over Penn State in New Orleans a few years later. But that's for another time and another edition of Crimson Classics. For the Bryant Museum, I'm Gary Harris.
To purchase a DVD of this program, visit the Paul W. Bryant Museum at www.bryant.ua.edu or call 1-866-772-BEAR.